What's up, people? I am back for another video. Today, we are going to be talking about the revisionist history around specifically Jurassic Park 3. And then I did just watch Superman, not in theaters, I will be honest. I saw it on the seas. I just watched it. I got done watching it like 10 minutes ago. So, this isn't going to be the review for that. I'm going to try to get that done tomorrow or Friday. I'm gunning for tomorrow, though, because it's gonna be a rant, and I already have the title, hashtag super shit, which all the leaks, that I read a couple of months ago, they're all true. Pretty much everything I read is pretty much all true. The hashtag super shit, all the shit with the monkeys, all that shit's real, guys. The pocket universes, all that shit's real. And I'll go more into that tomorrow. And man, it's not a good movie. It's everything I was kind of worried this film was going to be. A bunch of shit jokes, a bunch of just James Gunn humor, and that's very much what this was. None of the moments they were allowed to be serious. Like, it was all like every moment that they try to have a serious moment is always undercut with a joke. The pacing is terrible. It's very all over the place. I don't know if James Gunn was trying to do like make it feel like it's episodic, but it just feels like it's a bunch of random shit just happening. And I'm not gonna blame David Cornsweet, Rachel Brosnahan, or even Nicholas Holt. I blame the script. I think the script failed all of them, if I'm being honest, because it really felt like this was a bunch of movies thrown together. Like, the script was very all over the place. You not a lot of people were allowed to tell their motivations. The Justice Gang, which I had a feeling, and even said in the leaks, they were basically just the Guardians. And I will get to Jurassic Park 3. I wanted to get this Superman rant off my chest a little bit before I go into it tomorrow. It's everything I hate being right. Because to me, James Gunn was never the right pick for Superman. I never understood why they went with him as the director. I always thought he was a bad choice to direct Superman. Just in my opinion. I've always felt like he was a bad pick. He wasn't the right guy for Superman. Not something like Superman. Because he basically was just going to turn into Guardians of Superman. And that's very much what this was. So I'll go more into it tomorrow. I kind of want to now get to the main point of this video, but I will definitely I want to do the Superman review tomorrow because I have a lot to say. Yeah, this movie pissed me off, and it didn't help that seeing this a week after Jurassic World, which was also really bad, just doesn't help. Like within 2 weeks, guys, I have watched basically two of the worst of each franchise. Like last week, Jurassic World Rebirth is the worst Jurassic Park movie. To me, this is the worst Superman movie. I even think this is worse than Superman Returns in terms of as a movie. Returns, the only thing this movie has probably over Returns is it's not boring. But outside of that, Superman Returns at least has a good scene in it, as much as I don't like the movie. And I think there's a way you could make that movie good. And you don't have the shitty James Gunn humor. The humor in this is painful. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I was just fucking... The humor was grating. Like, very grating. Like, annoying. I was annoyed the whole time with the humor. I was just like, dude, it's not funny, James Gunn. And the fact that Lois unironic, like even like the first 20 minutes, was within the first 20 minutes, you get that scene that was like already like they released to everybody, whereas Lois and interviewing Superman. It's even worse in the movie. It's painfully annoying because I could tell like they were trying to be funny with it. Like, oh, they're funny bickering, Like, I think that's what they were going for. Like, they were trying to make it funny. And I just didn't like that you try to make this basically a comedy. And everything that could be serious, you make it a joke. And man, all corn sweat. Oh, okay. So I'll preface this, guys. The first bit of this video is going to be me venting about Superman for a bit since I just saw it. I will get to the actual point of the video eventually. But all Superman does in this movie, even the opening, he just gets his ass kicked the whole fucking time. And my God, I was annoyed. Because within the first beginning, he gets beat up by Ultraman, and then he gets beat up by Ultraman again, and then he gets beat up by the monster. There's like a handful of scenes where he kind of looks like he's dominating. He's actually kind of heroic. But no, he just opens with immediately him getting his ass beat. Like, why? There's, like, I get the idea, right? It's in the animated series. Superman's nerfed, right? A bit. But he doesn't just get his ass kicked the entire episode. Like, they still let Superman look strong in the show. In this, he was just getting his ass kicked constantly. Or whining. But, like, getting his ass kicked. Like, I was just rolling my eyes. Like, okay, he's getting his ass kicked again. But anyways, I'm going to save the rest of my issues with Superman because I don't want to... I want to actually get to the point of this video. We will definitely review Superman tomorrow because I'm definitely angry about it. And definitely the more I think about it, especially by tomorrow where it'll be close to 24 hours since I've seen it, I am definitely going to be much more mad. And I'll have much more to say. So I'm gonna like hold off on the Superman review section now. It's a bad movie. I'd only say go see it if you really just want to see it, just to check out a new Superman. But I wouldn't say go see it in theaters. I didn't. It's on the seas now. I found the site. You'll find it. If it's on the site now, it'll be on others in a matter of time. So just be patient and just see it that way. Don't go to the theater. Fuck this movie. The CGI is also atrocious. It's not as bad as The Flash, but it's not good either. So, but anyway, now to the point of this video. I was seeing this around, especially since post, like, people, Rebirth coming out, and a lot of people talk about how bad Rebirth was, which it was bad. Don't get me wrong, but I am tired of this new revisionist history that Jurassic Park 3 wasn't that bad and it wasn't a bad movie. No, it is a bad movie. Is it the worst movie? No, I'll admit I don't hate it as much as I did when I was a kid. And that's partially because, yeah, there's been worse. It didn't kill, like, it's not a Last Jedi. It's not a Rise of Skywalker, Rise of Palpatine. It's not a Terminator Dark Fate. It's not even The Predator, where those movies arguably destroyed a franchise. It's not that, but Jurassic Park 3 is still not good. I mean, are we forgetting that this movie put the franchise on hold for 14 years? Are we forgetting that this movie basically was being written as they were filming? They didn't have a script when they were filming. A lot of people don't even look into that. Do they not remember the back behind the scenes? That this movie wasn't even filmed. Like, this movie was being filmed while there was no script. And you can say, oh, it still turned out a fun movie. If it wasn't Jurassic Park, I really would not have a problem with it. But coming off those first two movies, especially the first one, but I would even throw in the second one, even with the issues, both those movies had that Spielberg magic, that had that, like, special sauce that made it a Jurassic Park film. Even Jurassic World, just that one specifically. Fallen Kingdom and Dominion, I'll admit, they're not great, especially the more the time goes on. But they're still better than this movie. The Jurassic Park 3. Let's go through all the issues with the movie. The characters. The Kirbys are unlikable. You do not give a fuck about their, like, love story. Like, about them getting back together. You don't care about any of that shit. You just don't. And the fact that they try to force you to. The fact that a lot of the scenes are during the day. And there's only one effective sequence the whole movie. And that's the bird scene. The pterodon scene. The bird cage scene. That's about the only scene where you get like that Spielberg feel. The rest of the movie, you do not have that. Look, Alan Grant. Let's break him and Ellie up for no fucking reason. Just so you could have the scene where, because her boyfriend's like in the military, so you can have that scene in the end where the military shows up and saves them. Even though that it really doesn't make any sense that they would find them in that exact spot. It was so bad. Billy, who's not really a likable character. I like that actor, but he's not really good in this movie. He doesn't get much to do besides, oh, let's have him steal the egg so you can have a somewhat tension between him and and Alan. And then the whole plot of Alan and him getting swooned into coming to the island was stupid. And then you had the plot with the kids somehow surviving 8 weeks on that. I don't care if that there's some book that was written at the time to try to adjust it. There was a book that came out around the same time as the movie to essentially it explained how Eric was able to survive on the island for 8 weeks. I don't care. That is a bad plot. I don't buy that. I don't buy that this kid was able to do all this shit, somehow able to get T-Rex P. It was... No, Jurassic Park 3 is a bad movie. We gotta stop the fucking cap. I'll admit, like I just said earlier, it's not as bad as compared to some of the other, like, quote-unquote, if you want to call it franchise killers. And this didn't kill a franchise. It just kind of put it on ice for 14 years. Still Jurassic World. Jurassic World had problems. It's way better than this movie. The Spinosaurus, while cool, only had a handful, a couple of... I'm not even going to go into the Rex death, because to me, I've grown to not... I don't like that scene still. I still feel like you didn't have to kill off a T-Rex to show how cool the Spino was. You could have just had the Spino in the movie and just had no Rex. I would have been fine with that. But whatever. That's not what makes this movie bad. There's the Alan scene. I don't care that it's 2 seconds. It's stupid. There's been no talking dinosaurs up until this point. There is a better way you could have showed off Alan Grant's PTSD, because that's how I see people try to defend that scene. Oh, it's Alan Grant's PTSD. You could have did that differently. Show him a scenario where maybe he's almost being killed or about to be killed. And even Alan Grant's character change doesn't make sense. Why does he all of a sudden hate dinosaurs? Why does he think they're monsters now when it made no sense? Even within the first fucking movie, he understands they're animals. Within, like, it's like, if you're going to go within, like, the timeline of the movie, it's like an hour or two after, you know, obviously the stuff with the Rex happening in the breakout scene. He goes to the, you know, he's on top of the tree with the Brachiosaurus the next day, or it's the next day. But even just that night, he understands they're animals still. Yeah, obviously he was in a dangerous situation, but he still ultimately understood they're animals, because even the next day, he was still cool with the dinosaurs. He still loved them. So why does he all of a sudden just hate them? Just because, oh, plot. And then always been my issue, too. I love Sam Neill, but you could tell he was fucking phoning it in this movie. Because if you read one of the original ideas, because there's a lot of the original scripts and ideas for Jurassic Park 3 are out there. One of them was going to be him being on the island by himself, basically being wild man, living on the island, watching these animals be animals. And he would have been much more in line with the Alan Grant we would have gotten from the first film. That was one of the ideas. There's another one where he's investigating, because there's cases of dinos getting into the mainland, and he would have looked into that. That would have been much more interesting. And actually, Alan Grant, from what it sounds like, it's much more in line with the Alan Grant we saw from the first film. Why would he think they're just monsters? It doesn't make any sense why you would hate dinosaurs. Yeah, he almost died, but it doesn't make any sense. Because even within the first fucking movie, after the events of the Rex, he still appreciates seeing the brachiosaurs. I understand they're herbivores, but he still understands they're ultimately dinosaurs. That this is just nature. He clearly still appreciated seeing dinosaurs, even after what happened. So why does he all of a sudden, you're telling me, oh, a couple years later, he just hates dinosaurs now? Like, it's so stupid. Separating him and Ellie just so you can have that stupid scene in the end. Unlikable characters. The fact that we have T. Leone, how many times Alan, Billy, even fucking, I think his name is Paul, which is William H. Macy's character, even tells her to stop screaming Eric into the megaphone. She still does it. It's so bad. The only good thing in Jurassic Park 3, I like some of the raptor designs. I like the Spino stuff outside of the wreck scene. And then that's the other thing. You could have had another really good sequence like the birdcage scene, but unfortunately you had to ruin it because I get it, the idea. Alan Grant was calling Ellie on the fucking satellite phone, which that part's stupid too. You're really gonna have me believe that a satellite phone would still be working even if Spinosaurus digested it, even though you're telling me dino stomach acids would not melt a phone. Sure, whatever. Okay, we'll just go with that. Somehow the phone's still able to work, even though even though it's a smartphone. I mean, a satellite phone in 2001. By the way, that is somehow durable enough to survive dino stomach acid. Okay, whatever. He calls Ellie, but it's the kid picking up. But unfortunately, the kid's distracted by watching Barney. So while this is going on, you have the Spino attacking the boat, which is actually really well done. The way it comes out of the water, you have its sail coming out of the water like a shark fin in Jaws. It's actually lit great. You got rain. All the makings of a really good sequence. And when you do see the sequence, it's good. But they kept cutting away to Barney, and I bet it was because they heard how dark Lost World was. That's one of the reasons a lot of it isn't at night, and you notice it isn't as violent as Lost World. And I think that's partially why they kept cutting to Barney, because they thought, oh, for the kids we can't make it too scary, so we got to cut away to constantly the kid watching Barney, which unfortunately ruined the sequence. So you couldn't even fully enjoy that sequence, because the sequence itself, if you take the kid out, is really well done. The way it's attacking the boat and all that, you got the lighting, you got the rain, the way it came out of the water. That's what I mean. There's so many wasted opportunities in this movie because you could clearly tell they were writing it as they were going along because it's out there. So no, Jurassic Park 3 is dog shit. It's not a good film. It hurt the franchise for a long fucking time. The only genuinely good sequence is the birdcage scene. Outside of that, the whole movie is kind of bad. If it's not a Jurassic Park film, it's a dumb dino movie that I'd be like, all right, this is fine. This is like a 7 out of 10 dino action movie. But because it's Jurassic Park, I have to give it lower. And it's coming off Lost World, which was really good. Even with some of not the greatest sequences, like the start of the San Diego sequence doesn't fully make sense. I will, I'll acknowledge that. I will definitely acknowledge that point. It doesn't, the start of it doesn't fully make sense. But you still have that Spielberg magic. You still have that tension. Outside of really Nick Van Owen, I largely still mostly like the characters. Sarah does some dumb shit, but she's still likable. There's still some really good scenes. The Eddie Carr scene. The movie's paced well. Even like Ian Malcolm's character change in Jurassic Park 3 makes far more sense than Alan Grant's character change in this movie. So I'm sorry. Jurassic Park 3 is not good. It's just not. It's not the worst thing ever, but it's not good. And just because not all the Jurassic World movies have been great does not mean we gotta start acting like Jurassic Park 3 is actually really good or it's misunderstood. No. The Alan scene's stupid as fuck. For a couple reasons. Just the talking raptor. That alone. Up until this point, even as a kid, I always thought that scene was stupid. I'm like, when did the dinosaurs start talking? I get it's a dream scene. Even as a kid, I understood it was a dream scene, but I still thought it was stupid. Why is the dinosaurs talking? That's goofy. That's once again, they were trying to almost like play to the kid audience, but in a bad way. In the negative sense, like where it was like you're taking away that Jurassic Park was for everybody, but because they thought, I wouldn't be surprised if they heard that from somewhere that maybe they thought Lost World was too dark. They had to kid it up, and that's one of the reasons it feels like a Disney movie, and I saw someone point that out, and I kind of agree. Like, And and fundamentally, you can't call this a good movie when they were writing the script as they were they weren't finished with the script before they started filming. Every other movie, that normal movies, you finish the script first before you start filming. No, they filmed and kept changing everything as they went along. Even the Spinosaurus was a last minute addition. It was supposed to be a Baryonyx. Then they changed it to a Spinosaurus. There was and unfortunately, a lot of the original scripts that they were going to do for this movie sound far better than what we ended up getting. Because the Kirby's, to me, are like if you ask me, some of the worst Jurassic Park characters. They're up there. I don't know if I would say they're the worst, but they're up there. And it's just the only saving grace about Jurassic Park 3 is that I can still kind of count it as a Jurassic Park movie in the sense of the tone and the way that dinosaurs are handled. I can still give it that. It took like even with the Spinosaurus, they had to add fucking extra bullshit wasn't even in the movie. Like they had to basically say, oh, the Spinosaurus is actually like the Proto Indominus Rex, like it was a hybrid, and that's why it was able to kill a T-Rex, and that's why it was so big, and that's why it was so aggressive. They had to add extra content to make it make sense, because at the time it did make sense. Sorry, like Jurassic Park 3 is not a good movie. It's not the worst thing ever. I'm going to reiterate that. It's not the worst thing ever compared to certain movies like I just named. It's not a Dial of Destiny. It's not a fucking Dark Fate, but it's still not a good movie. It harmed the franchise for a while. I mean, the franchise was uncertainty after that movie. Up until that point, you had a Jurassic Park film every couple years. You had the first one, and then 4 years later, you had Lost World. And then after this one, the franchise was on ice for a while. I mean, it could have been other factors, obviously, but come on, man. Whatever problems I had with Jurassic World, at least it felt like a return to form. Also, too, I think what hurt Jurassic Park 3 is the fact that this is the one time I think there should have been a human antagonist. I felt like there was no human antagonist kind of slightly propelling the plot. Like you had Ludlow, you had even Nedry in the first one. You didn't have that in this. Like this was just the dinosaurs, which I didn't even feel like they fully implemented well. If you're just gonna do just dinosaurs as antagonists, which is okay, fine, but do more with it. And I'm gonna be honest, you didn't really have any of that philosophical stuff like there were in the first two movies. That was always a theme in these movies. You don't have that in this one. This one is just Dino Chase movie, which that's fine, but I don't even feel like they did that well. I mean, I'll say this: I can rewatch Jurassic Park 3. I have to be in the mood for it. I'll be honest, but I can watch it again compared to other movies. But it's not. I'm gonna keep reiterating: it's not good. It really did hurt the franchise. But anyway, been going on for 20 minutes. I don't want to make this video too long. I wanted to make this video just because it's something I've been noticing, and I'm probably gonna do the same video after I do the Superman review, because I've been seeing the same revisionist history for Superman Returns, and I want to talk about that. And I might make this a series, like where I find certain movies that I think are bad, but where I find this like weird new revisionist history where we act like it's not bad anymore, or it was never that bad, or it was decent, or even try to say, you know what, it's misunderstood, or stuff like that. I'm gonna try to find movies like that and maybe make that a thing. So we'll do the Superman Returns one. I might do that one this weekend. I'm gonna do Superman tomorrow, and yeah, I'm gonna be going off about that movie. Y'all, I don't want to do two rants in a row. I like when I do new movie reviews to do praises, but unfortunately, I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I think July is going to be a lot of bad, because Superman was bad. Obviously, Jurassic was bad. And then I probably won't do it here. I will do it now. I can say it now. Me, my friend Calman, and Tyler, who I do Pin Down with, are going to be doing our own film channel, film review channel. Our first episode is going to be premiering, or not premiering, we're going to be going live this Sunday. And it's going to be on Sundays, and I will be putting the link to that, and then obviously the Pin Down link, which there should be a review, a predictions video for All In, Saturday night's main event, and Evolution. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it because I had to be on a stream today, but look out for that. And then, so yeah, so now I have 2 streaming channels going on. But anyway, back to Superman. So I'll be talking about Superman tomorrow, and I want to get all my thoughts on that because, man, I really hate that it's 2 rants in a row. I wanted to like this movie, but I had a bad feeling going into it, and I was right. The James Gunn was just not the right choice for this movie. I mean, it was a fucking comedy. He did it like his typical Guardians of the Galaxy. The Justice Gang was essentially the Guardians. Like, Guy Gardner was essentially maybe a bit more douchey, but more douchey Star-Lord. And Hawkgirl is essentially kind of like Gamora. Just obviously there was no romantic thing between them, but they had like a similar dynamic, just not romantic. And then Mr. Terrific was maybe like a combination of maybe like Mantis and Raccoon. And then now with Metamorpho joining the group, he's basically Drax. It's like James Gunn is such a one-trick pony. I agree with my friend Mara who said that the other day. He is a one-trick pony. He does the same shit. He did it with Suicide Squad. He turned them into Guardians. And that's why I was just like, he wasn't the right choice for Superman. Because to me, Superman, yeah, there's a bit of humor, but it should not be a comedy. And when you have a lot of the comedy, once again, and this isn't just a Superman problem, this has been a problem in superhero movies for a fucking minute now, where you have to have humor always undercut a serious scene, because I don't know if they think kids can't handle like a serious moment, so they have to always undercut it with a joke or some kind of humor. This movie has it in spades, man. I was fucking angry just because of that. I was the amount of times in my head I was thinking, I fucking hate modern superhero movies because unfortunately that's what they've become. And maybe I will do a rant. I'll do a video about that maybe at some point too. I think I did one before, but maybe we'll make a continuation because it's gotten worse. The only superhero movie, funny enough, that I felt like had heart and actually, when they had to play it straight, they played it straight, funny enough, was Deadpool 3, which you would expect a lot of the humor, but the moments when they actually let it be serious, they let it be serious. A little bit of Guardians 3, but I feel like even Guardians 3 still had a little bit of that problem of they don't let it. I think James Gunn, if he's just in his own avenue, he's fine, but he should not be doing Superman. He is not the right choice. You need someone like the director who did Maverick. I haven't seen F1 yet. I'm going to eventually see it, and I will definitely review it for this channel. But the guy who did F1, who also did Maverick, he should have done Superman. Just the way he wrote fucking Maverick in the first movie, in this one, is fucking well done in Maverick. That is, like, that kind of showed me he could do Superman. I think that is how you do a Superman movie, kind of in a way, is how you do Maverick. Superman should be in that type of tone. Very hopeful, but still serious. Maverick had its humor, but it wasn't like a fucking what we got in this movie. So, anyways, guys, I'm gonna get ready to wrap it here. But other than that, Superman review tomorrow. I'm gonna do it tomorrow. I'm gonna probably do it. End up doing something tomorrow during the day. I might just get it out during the day. Because it gives me like like a night like a night to sleep it over and kind of think it over. So I would have done the Superman review now, but I kind of wanted to get this video out, but also I kind of want to give Superman a little bit of a think over because I don't want to just be screaming. So, which I will be, but let's think it over at least a bit. So definitely tomorrow, probably like I mentioned, it'll be during the day probably, and then we'll do that Superman Returns video either Friday or like the weekend. More likely the weekend though. But anyways, guys, subscribe to Cowman Reviews, which that's gonna be the the review channel. Me, Tyler, my pin down co-host, and Cowman, my friend Cowman. We're gonna be doing that channel starting Sunday, and our first review is actually, ironically, gonna be Superman. So I'm basically gonna be talking about this movie twice this week. And then subscribe to Pin Down Podcast, obviously. There won't be a stream this weekend since it's Saturday, it's main event. But we should be back, like, next week and all. So I should be back next week doing Pin Down and the Cowman Reviews channel. So we'll be doing both next week. We should be doing both next week. But other than that, take one more hit, and then I'm going to call it here.